PDC as well. Can he produce something special himself? He's up against Toni Alcinas, a man who'll be representing Spain at the World Cup once again, and ever present at the World Cup of Darts is Toni Alcinas, but a guy who's struggled really on the tour this year. I do think everything should have a caveat for players who haven't really performed on the tour this year, because it's just been a very strange situation, and Toni hasn't played as many tournaments as others because often he's either been unwilling or unable to leave his home in Mallorca to travel to things like the Summer Series. Chris Murphy joins me in the commentary box for the penultimate game in the afternoon session. Danny Noppert still to come. But this is the Samurai, Toni Alcinas, and simply
Thank
Steve
you, ladies
West.
and gentlemen. First leg, Steve to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, I was hoping to be alongside Paul Nicholson in commentary for this one, Dan. Not because our working relationship is strained, though it is, but because
60.
Paul Nicholson was a man that had a go at Michael van Gerwen, primed him for Steve West in that European Championship. But also, in one of the three meetings between this pair, Steve West beat Toni Alcinas at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy in 2018 and went on to reach a semi-final. Remember the semi-finalists that year?
It was Steve West.
I gave you that one.
Paul Nicholson.
Yes, Nicholson was one of them.
Adrian Lewis. And Michael van Gerwen.
Four marks. Van Gerwen and Lewis contesting the final.
Great weekend of Euro Tour action that was.
100.
I believe that was the weekend when we had one of those Euro Tour classics between Wade and Lewis, but certainly one in Gibraltar. We got another one last week in the semi-final between Ian White and Jose de Sousa. What will
55.
this weekend have in store?
Well, West, of course, came into this tournament having had the second highest average ever in the International Darts Open. He now has the third highest average ever because of that performance you mentioned by Ross Smith.
$121. Steve, you require 106.
6 for tops.
Game shot in the first
very
leg.
Nice.
Steve West.
Steve
Second
West.
leg, Toni to throw first.
Encouraging
Game
start
on.
to this one.
Encouraging response.
180.
Toni Alcinas, who, as you mentioned, will return to the World Cup for Spain with Cristo Reyes.
60.
First round meeting against Italy.
I can't even remember the last time I saw Cristo Reyes in action. It's been quite some time. Ooh, 4 perfect darts for Toni.
100.
There is more Spanish representation here at the International Darts Open.
96.
Final match of this evening, Jesus Nogueira taking on Mike Kivenhoven.
Yeah, we saw Jesus and Toni wandering around Frankfurt Airport there for several hours, as we both were yesterday in the journey here to the old East Germany. To be fair, it's probably a longer journey for Toni and Jesus than it was for us, but only marginally as far as you're concerned, Murph.
Toni, you require 121.
A chance to hit back. Double 18. What a start to this match.
Leg. Toni Alcinas, third leg, Steve to throw first.
Well, very welcome to see these two going at it and producing some top stuff in the early stages, because we both know what they're both capable of. And Toni Alcinas, of course, a man who part of that Spanish team that knocked out England at the World Cup way back a decade ago. He's also the guy who beat
61.
Peter Wright at the World Championship. There have been spells with Toni where he really has looked like he's got it in him to go and win a PDC title. Steve West
95.
probably should have won a PDC title by now, because Lord knows he's had enough appearances in semi-finals.
Yeah. And there was a time when he was the next winner in waiting, it seemed, around 3 years ago.
Yeah, Mr. Dart. No, he had a visit where he could have beaten MVG in a final of a UK Open qualifier, and he first dart went into a 1 or a 5 in the championship.
58.
Yes, that was that.
Lost in a last leg decider. think that was a little spell where Van Gerwen won all 3 UK Open qualifiers in a row over a weekend. Remember those times, Murph?
Seem a long distant memory now. We will see Michael Van Gerwen this weekend. Still the top seed.
100.
Still the top seed, still the world number 1, still the most successful player by far on the European Tour. But if he doesn't win this weekend, it will be, albeit a truncated
59.
European Tour season,
Stevie require
first one in
100
years
metres.
where MVG doesn't have a title. Shanghai on the 18s for Westy. Okay.
68.
I don't mind that. It's fair enough.
Well, the little run of 3-figure finishers comes to an end, but West will return looking at double top.
40. Stevie require 40. Game shot in the third leg.
And as easy as
Steve
that,
West.
he
Fourth
pins
leg,
it
Toni to throw
and regains
first.
the lead.
Game on.
West is in the provisional qualifying spots for the European Championship. So he's
58.
quite far down that list of the 32 players that will qualify. 27th, so this would be a really big boost.
96.
Yeah, I mean, at the $5,000, which is what he's on now, that's probably going to be enough, but he's not certain. Win this, and I think he
60.
can start packing his bag. Well, he won't be packing his bags because he'll probably go straight there. 'Cause it all gets going on Thursday.
Yeah, plenty of darts coming up.
56.
Got the Winter Series, the World Cup, the Grand Slam, all after next weekend's European Championship.
Home Tour 3.
140.
It's been fantastic that we have had so much darts to watch. The Women's Series, of course, last
94.
weekend, running parallel to the European Tour. In fact, Fallon Sherrock will be making another television appearance tomorrow night on The Chase.
83.
Really?
Celebrity Chase, alongside ITV darts presenter Jackie Oatley.
Oh, I never.
140. Toni require 160.
Now then, Toni Alcinas might need to take this because ton plus checkouts have been de rigueur so far in this clash. And Steve West is on 115.
45.
Does Westy go ball?
Steve,
here?
you require 115.
Yes, he does.
Oh, hello. Oh,
95.
Westy.
Toni, you require 115.
Well, the same targets, different routes.
97.
Same outcome.
Steve, you require 20.
Not quite de rigueur in this leg as Westy lines up double 10.
Game
Yeah,
shot
there
in
it
the
is.
fourth leg.
Back to
Steve
back
West.
16 darters for Steve
leg,
West, and that's
Steve
good
to
enough
throw
to open
first.
up a 2-leg advantage.
Game on.
This isn't bad for Steve West.
He's in again.
One
It's looking very much like the Steve West of 3 years ago.
Well, the only surprise is Steve West 3-1 up and averaging high 90s right now.
45.
And that's his first 180 because so much of his game is built upon that 180 hitting. When he's playing well, he really is an absolute
93.
monster maximum hitter.
Yeah, the grouping of Steve West is up there with the best. Unfortunately, the Achilles heel has
100.
been that many of the darts have been grouped outside the doubles.
Not today.
58.
The mind goes back to that World Match Play match against Darryl Gurney.
Oh, how many was it in the end? 13? Have I made that up? 13 match darts? It was a lot.
140.
Maybe it wasn't quite
Steve,
double
you require
figures.
170.
I think it was. $105. He looks Looks very, very comfortable here.
59.
Hoping to avoid the bullseye this time. Hasn't managed it. But he has managed to check out. And Steve West storms into a 4-1 lead.
Toni to throw first. Game on.
Well, Steve West, you can look at the numbers of darts that it's taken him to win legs, and it's 15, 16, 16, 15. And that looks really nice, and you think, oh, nice consistent level that is. But then Toni will be looking at a couple of those legs and thinking, that's a missed opportunity for me. Steve West might be starting to get on his 180 tip again, and if he does that, then Toni Alcinas is going to find it very, very difficult to live with him.
60.
Another. Not quite a grimace
97.
from West. He was feeling good. He fancied that, at least to set up the chance.
This is the best I've seen from Westy in quite some time. It's very, very welcome to see as well. Seen some very good displays today. The first game of the day was a cracker between Jason Lowe and Scott Marsh. We've seen absolutely unbelievable stuff from Ross Smith.
100.
Steve West is giving a very, very good account of himself here.
The winner of this would take on Jamie Hughes tomorrow.
100. Steve, you require 124.
He didn't need to go for the 18s there.
56.
I just thought with a lie and with the way that he loves treble 20, just stay there, try and leave yourself on top.
100. Steve, you require 68.
Having just hit double four, he's not going to go that route.
Game
That
shot
route
in the
is
sixth
just as
leg.
good.
Steve West.
Well, it's another
Seventh
15
leg,
dart
Steve
leg
to throw first.
for Steve West, who is just ticking along and looks like he could play all afternoon, taking out legs in 15 and 16 darts. And that'll leave you around the average in the very high 90s, and good darts, good solid darts from Steve West.
125.
Those 15 darters against the throw and the 16 darters on the throw, they're legs that Toni will be going away from it thinking, look, I've missed out.
140.
I've not been quite good enough.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, chances earlier on just seemed to give more confidence.
41.
Chances his opponent missed made Steve more confident, and the back end of the match, he just piled the pressure on from the beginning of the legs.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, Tony's only had 2 darts at double.
140.
They went toe-to-toe for the first 2 or 3 legs, and then Steve's managed to plough on, staying at that consistent level, and Tony's wilted a little. He's not played
60.
poorly, he just hasn't played well enough to worry Steve.
As I was saying, Jamie Hughes in the next round, is that an opportunity for Steve West? What do you make? It's hard to make anything of anybody this year, but what do you make of Jamie Hughes?
Well,
at the
Jamie Hughes
moment?
obviously a Euro Tour winner last year, and in his time in PDC Darts has played some incredible stuff.
95.
However,
Toni require 81.
he looks a little bit fragile. Doesn't need to go 12 and pull. Looks a little bit fragile, and that was typified by being 5-0 up against Mensur Suljovic last week and losing 6-5.
Set up to pressurise this.
40. Toni require 32.
Double 16 to stay alive.
Game shot in the 7th leg. Toni Alcinas.
Well, there you go, 13 darts from
Leg,
Toni
Toni to
Alcinas,
throw
and that would have been
first.
good enough to
Game
win him a
on.
number of the legs so far in this match. A bit more of that earlier on, we might have had a much closer game than we do right now. There might still be a way back into this, though. Certainly, Tony's reaction there suggests that he thinks there may be.
45.
But at the very least, it will be a nice little warm-up for the World Cup. for Toni Alcinas, part of a Spain team that have done damage in that tournament in years gone by.
180.
West not giving up on doing the job here just yet.
98.
Big score here, and it applies the pressure, but it has to be big.
140.
Big enough
It's only required
to leave a
88.
finish. Can Alcinas deny him a chance at that finish? The bullseye says he can.
Game shot on the 8th leg. Toni
He's gone
Alcinas,
full Bob
9th leg,
Anderson with the
Steve
point
to
there.
first.
5-3. Toni Alcinas, he's dragged his average up over the last couple of legs. 2 legs won in 25 darts.
57.
You're looking at around the 120 average there. And the Spaniard is on the charge. But has he left himself too much to do? That tells the story, doesn't it? Steve West is just
60.
winning legs in 15, 16 darts. If you're better than that, you'll win the leg. If you're not, Steve just hoovers it up.
There's that grouping again.
180.
Steve West.
Wow. What a game of darts.
59.
Barely any doubles missed. The scoring has been pretty good.
58.
I can only recall one time when the players had a dart at a double in a combination and not hit it.
A couple of times, Steve. No, it has happened a couple of times. Steve did it for a 115 and a 108. But yeah, there've only been odd little chances here and there. A lot of the time, the double's been going first dart. Oh, and he's powering on here.
80 scores.
Just checking what he'd scored there because it groups that well that he couldn't tell
100.
if it was inside or outside that top wire.
But this game started with a 106 checkout for Steve West. It could end with a 106 checkout.
21.
And it doesn't
Steve, you
need to
require
because
106.
Steve has got multiple opportunities to see this off. Double 16.
74.
He wasn't far away, but he will be back. Don't see him down there that often.
No, very much a double top man, but double 16 will
Steve,
wrap
you
it up.
require 32.
To cap off an excellent display. That's tricky now.
16.
He hasn't found a way. Just the way that dart kicked up. Managed to block the double 8 somewhat.
One right on 40. Steve, you
Little
require
tap on the
16.
shoulder for Steve West. Oh, Steve.
Game,
Oh, there we
shot,
go.
And a match.
I was just
Steve
tossing up the
West.
darts because I thought I might need to know the number, but in the end it doesn't matter because Steve West, despite a little stutter at the finishing line, gets over it with a very solid display. Toni Alcinas didn't play too shabbily, but a huge smile of relief from Simply the West, who comes through that one